TV 15 news crews are in the area, and we're going to switch live now to Randall King, who is in Myrtle Beach. So, Randall, bring us up to date.
Bob, we're right in the downtown part of Myrtle Beach, and right behind me is what's called the 2nd Avenue Pier. And if you can get a good look back there, if we can get a closer shot for you, that midsection of that pier has been washed out. This happened several hours earlier as the high tides and all that came in. As bad as that looks, and as bad as the scene may appear right now, it is all considerably less than what you have shown earlier in the Garden City area, and also we're told to the north. As you mentioned earlier, Garden City has been underwater, and some considerable damage down in that area already reported. We've also had reports, as you mentioned, in Lake Arrowhead and in the Cherry Grove section. We heard they were 2 feet underwater. We're this much area to cover, it's hard to know what's going on, but this is what we could find here right in the city of Myrtle Beach. It appears right now Myrtle Beach is better off than some of the other areas, and one resident told me that's possibly because of the beach renourishment program. That's been a key issue that the city leaders have pushed for all through and through, and it appears right now that some of that is holding up. But you can again see that pier behind me. It's been washed out, and this has happened in some other piers all along the Grand Strand. We're going to go north next and try to get a better look at that.
Randall, if you can hear me, are the roads passable throughout that area? Are they clogged with other cars or what?
Well, right here in the city, it's very passable. It's easy to get to where you're going, but as we mentioned, to the south and to the north, things are a lot worse. Roads going into Garden City, as we understand, are either clogged or blocked completely. Also some problems to the north of here. City of Myrtle Beach is pretty much fine. The only traffic problem we have right now is people driving in to see all this, and that's as they keep coming in, they're clogging up the area, and that's always going to make the situation a little more difficult. But roads you're able to get around to where you need to go, at least in the city of Myrtle Beach.
Okay, have you noticed or talked to anybody that talked about any rescue efforts that were going on in some of the other areas there?
No, Bob, as I said, we have just gotten here within the last hour and came right here to the city of Myrtle Beach. What we've been able to hear through area media reports, nothing to that nature, but as you mentioned about the rescue and evacuation efforts in Lake Arrowhead, we have heard those same reports that you have. We haven't seen it with our own eyes yet.
Okay, Randall, thank you very much. We're going to switch now to Steve. And while Garden City and the South Strand once again seem to bear the brunt of the storm, the crushing tides also left their mark further north.
Randall King is standing by live now in Myrtle Beach with details. Randall?
Bob and Sue, we are at 2nd Avenue North in Myrtle Beach, which seems to be one of the most popular places down here today. That's because you really can't see it behind me, but there's a pier back here, the 2nd Avenue Pier. It's somewhat of a landmark down here. It is washed away. The midsection of it was washed away, and it's happened before. They tell me in one report that these were the highest tides in the area since Hurricane David in 1979. Well, a little bit earlier today, we were able to get a bird's eye view of the entire scene, and it seems that all along the coast, only the sturdiest structures survived. Myrtle Beach seemed to escape the damage seen by neighboring cities, but at least one landmark fell victim to the tides. For the 3rd time, the 2nd Avenue Pier was washed away, and it was no shock for owner Nick Lucas.
I think the worst part is watching it go and not being able to do anything about it. But after it's done and I looked at it and saw my piling still up, that's the main thing. We can build a bridge back across it.
The debris in the city seemed minor compared to what happened further north. At this condominium near North Myrtle Beach, guests woke up and found their cars underwater. It wasn't how they planned to welcome the new year.
We could see the waves breaking over, and this was underwater. Some of the cars parked in the parking lot had water in them, and it was just quite a fearsome sight.
Later, the strength of Mother Nature was quite visible. And further north, the debris increased, even though much of it was confined to pool decks and smaller structures. But the damage wasn't limited to those kinds of structures. Here in Cherry Grove, this whole room gave way to the intensity of the tides. Fortunately, it's the dead of winter, and nobody was staying here. No one was playing at the Family Fun Arcade either, which was fortunate. Tides here were so strong that rocks forming the seawall were thrown to the bank. Owner Gene Nixon says there's no way they could be prepared for that kind of intensity.
We had the high tide, about a month ago, and it splashed on the porch was all. We weren't ready for this. We didn't expect it to go in one door and out the other.
So now it's back to cleanup duty for all property owners on the Strand. Coastal residents know how to deal with hurricanes, but many of them told us the damage from this winter storm was something far worse than they've seen in many years.